All right, hey everybody, we're back. This is part 2, problem set, module 6, lesson 7, grade 5. All right, let's get busy. I hope you all have your pen and your pencils available, your paper, notebooks, or your iPads, whatever you're using to write. Okay, and give me a like. Okay, give me a thumbs up. I need some subscribers. Also, you all, that would be so lovely. Thank you. All right, let's get to it. We left off on problem 3, okay, in the last video. If you haven't seen the last video, go to part 1 first, then come back to this particular video. It helps out a lot. It helps out if you watch the videos in order, you all, okay? All right, number 3, use the coordinate plane below to answer the following questions. All right, so it looks like we're going to have some questions, a whole bunch of questions going on here. Question A says, give, and I'm here, you all, give the coordinates for 3 points that are on line A. So let's analyze and look at our particular chart here. And I want to get a highlighter for this. Okay, and I'm going to use yellow. All of these lines on this particular quadrant or coordinate plane have a name. So this is line C. Here we have line E, line A, line D, and it looks like that's line B in cursive. And I don't see any other lines, but what I do want to do is go ahead and put or indicate X, the X-axis, and the Y-axis, okay? So I know here, is the X-axis, and I'm going to put that here. And then over here would be our Y-axis. Very good. So we have lots of lines here on our coordinate plane. They all have a name, and named by letters, and then we have our X and our Y axis. It just makes it easier to stay focused when we're looking at our coordinate grid. All right, A says give the coordinates for 3 points that are on line A. So I need to go to line A. So you all go to line A, okay? Now, we can do any 3 points. It does not say which 3 points. It doesn't give us any clues or indications. So any 3 points on that line. So I'm going to choose here. I'll go here. And then let's do one down here. Okay. Now we have to give the coordinate pair for those particular points. In order to distinguish which point is which, we have to name our points. So why don't we name this point A1? Because we're on line A. A1. We'll name this one A2. We'll name this one A3. Okay? That's how we'll know which points in which pair. So I'll write it down here. This is A1, A2, and this one be A3. All right, let's begin writing our pairs, our coordinate pair. All right? So for A1 on the X-axis, A1 sits on the value of 10. Okay? And then on the Y-axis here, A1 sits on the value of 10. Easy stuff, right? And I did notice that we didn't go in and analyze our X and Y axes yet. And that's really good to do so in the beginning. I'm going to keep going just in case we run into a spot where I can say, see, I told you so. We should analyze first. All right, so let's see if we can get the coordinate pair for A2. I'm going to change colors because we don't have a lot of room. That way you'll know which answer, which plotting pair belong to which answer. Okay, so let's look at A2. On the X-axis, A2 sits, see, I don't know what the value is there because we didn't go in and analyze our X and Y axes. So let's go back. Let's go back and analyze. It's such a great help, you all, to go in and analyze it. Sometimes you may not have to, but it's just really a good practice to do so before you get started. All right, we start at 0, and then the first whole number that they've indicated is 10. So there's a lot of whole numbers missing in between 0 and 10. Okay, numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 are missing. But we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces. So you take your 10, divide it by the 5 spaces here. 10 divided by 5 equals 2. Very good. So that means that each one of these tick marks holds the value of 2. So the first one from 0 would be 2. This one, 2 plus 2 equals 4. 4 plus 2 equals 6. 6 plus 2 equals 8. And 8 plus 2 equals 10. Very good. So each one of those values is worth 2. So then what would be the next tick mark? 10 plus 2 equals 12. And then the next one, the next one, the next one. I want you all to go and fill it in on your particular chart. Coordinate grid. 20, and then keep going. So the same thing goes here on the y-axis. We start at 0. You should just count to make sure, analyze to make sure, because sometimes the x and the y-axis have a different value, okay? Sometimes, okay? So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces before we get to 10. 10 divided by 5 is 2, which means the value of each one of those tick marks equals 2. And I'll try to write it in 2. 2 plus 2 is 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, and we keep going. I'll keep going. 22, 24, 26, 28, and then 28 plus 2 equals 30. So I know that we're on the right track. 20 plus 2 is 22, 24, 26, 28, and then 30. Okay, all we did was add it plus 2 all the way down the line. Very good. Now that makes it so much easier to go and get the value of A2. So on the x-axis, A2 sits at 18, so x would be 18 here. And then on the y-axis, A2 sits at 18. Y would be 18 there. Okay, I see a pattern in all of these. X and Y are the same. All right, let's go to A3. Okay, so for A3, A sits on 24 on the x-axis, and then 26 on the y-axis. So we've given all 3 coordinate pairs. Let's go to B. Write a rule that describes the relationship between x and y coordinates for the position on line A. All right, so let's look. I want to go ahead and draw a chart, and then I'm going to have to erase because we don't have room, but I'll draw a chart. I think that it's a lot easier to analyze your x and y if they're written a certain way. Okay, and I hope I have enough room. So when x is 10, y is 10 for the first coordinate pair here. And then when x is 18, y is 18. And then when x is 24, y is 24. Oh boy, this is going to be super easy. All right, what did they do to x to get the answer of y? What did they do to 10? To get the answer of y equals 10. So when x is 10, what are we doing? Multiplying, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing to equal 10. So we already know that this will be plus 1, and I'm sorry, 10, times 1 is what I meant to say. 10 times 1 equals 10, and then that should work if our rule is times 1. That should work for all the rest of the plots. So let me put it in and see. 18 times 1 equals 18, and 24 times 1 equals 24. Good. Very good. All right, so we know that that particular rule would be times 1. So now that we have to write an equation. Okay? Uh-oh. It won't let me erase. I need to erase. If the rule is times 1, we have to write an equation for that particular rule. Oh, it says write a rule that describes the relationship. Yeah. All right. So x was 10. So x times 1 equals y. That would be our rule equation for that particular order. Very good. All right, now we have to move on to C. So Ms. Durham has to move to another page. So bear with me. I'll move up, we'll read, and we have to move back up. Look at C. C says, what do you notice about the y coordinates in every point on line B? The y coordinates on every point on line B. Let's look at line B. And, okay. Line B is here. Very good. We know it's a straight line, and we learned in lesson 6 and lesson 5, those straight lines, one of the letters has the same number in all of the points, okay? So if it's a straight line that moves this way, okay, let me show you. I can show you a lot better, but if it's a straight line that sits horizontally, okay, that means that all of the y-axes have the same coordinates. They all are sitting on 17 on the y-axis, and then a different coordinate on the x-axis. If it's a straight line that sits vertical, that means that they're all sitting on the coordinate 5 here on the x-axis, and then on the y-axis they all sit on a different value. Okay, so it says, what did we notice about the coordinates on line B? We do know that all of the y-axes, all of the y-coordinates for line B are what's between 16 and 18, 17. Okay, very good. So let's go back and fill in our answer. Here we go. Okay, what do you notice about the y coordinates on the all? Well, let me write all y coordinates are the same value, 17. Okay, good job for us. Now fill in the missing coordinates for points on line D. So this is tricky. Now, not tricky, but a little bit. You just have to pay attention. We know that the first coordinate is x, the second is y. So they're asking us for the y for that one, y for here. Here they want the x coordinate, and they gave us y. Here they want us to fill in the y coordinate, and they give us x. Here they do not give us x. We have to provide x, and here we fill in the y coordinates. Okie dokie. Let's try to get started. I have to go back and forth from the page, back and forth from the page. If you all have the capability of the iPad, or write down these empty spaces, or write down these coordinate pairs, and then we can move back up to the other one. Let me see if they'll let me copy it, you all. Can I copy that? And be patient with Miss Durham. It won't let me copy it. If you all are internet savvy, or you all have a lot of experience with working with notes on your iPad, and there's a way for me to copy this portion and move it up so that I don't have to keep going from page back down, then please let me know. As of now, it doesn't look like it, so I'll move on. We have to do 12 on the x-axis, and then y we have to indicate on line D. So let's go to 12 for line D, 12 on the x-axis, and see if we can determine what is our y coordinate. Let's use the color that we haven't used so that we know that we're working with something different. I'll use orange. Okay. So remember, 12 on the x-axis on line D. Oh, do anyone let me write you all? Hold on one second. Here we go. 12 on the x-axis. And then where's line D? Line D is here, so my point would be there. I'm going to go ahead and plot it on line D. That's our first point. And I want one ugly orange. Now let's go down and catch the next point. So when x is 12, that means y equals 6. Good. So let's go back and input it. All right, when x is 12, y equals 6. All right, Ms. Durham's trying to get the pencils with her right. The same thing with the next one. When x is 6, y equals what number? Okay. When x is 6, y equals what number? Let's go back up and look and see if we can determine for line D. And I'm going to put a D here so I can remind myself that we're working with line D. When x is 6, what is y? I'm going back to line D. All right, and I'll go to 6 on the x-axis. So when x is 6, that gives us a point here. That's line. Oh, Where is D here? Our point is here. X is 6. And then Y would be 0. Okay? Because it still sits here on line D. We don't forget we're working with line D. If I extend line D all the way out, X would be 6, and this would be our point here. And then where does it sit on the y-axis? It sits on 0. So when X is 6, Y equals 0. Okay? I'm going to go back to the page and fill in the information. Y equals 0. All right, we're going to move on. Here they want to know X if Y equals 24. Let's provide X if Y equals 24. So we'll go back to D. Go back to our grid. And don't forget we're looking at line D. So they didn't give us the X coordinate. They only give us Y. So Y equals 24, which is in between 26. Oh, come on. In between 26 and 22. But we have to make sure we're catching that on the D axis. Very good. So that means our point would be somewhere here. And I'm going to go ahead and extend D, extend the line out, so you can get a better indication of where to put our point. So D, Y equals 24, our point goes there. Now we have to determine what would be the X axis. So that particular point sits in between 28 and 30. What number is in between 28 and 30? 29. Very good. So X would be 29. I'm going to go back to the worksheet. I'm not giving up. Back to the worksheet. And we'll input our X, which is 29. Okay, we have to do the same thing for 28 and for the y-axis, and then here for the x-axis. Okay, I think you all can do that on your own. I've done the first 3 examples, so the next 2, perfect. Very good. Now, the next question here says, for any point on line C, the x coordinate would be what? So let's go back to line C. I want to give us a chance to try to complete an example of all of the rest of the questions, okay? So line C, the x coordinate is what? Let's go back and see. All right, let's look at line C. Where's line C? Here at the top. So line C is here. Now for line C, they want to know what would be the x coordinate. Where does line C sit on the x coordinate axes, or the x-axis here? Line C sits in between 4 and 6, which means 5 is in between 4 and 6. So every point on line C would have an x-axis of 5, okay? And then it would have a different y-axis, depends on where the point would sit here. So let's go back and answer our question. Oh, wait, looks like, uh-oh. Let me go back. Oh, sorry, buddies. Where's my paper? Here we go. Okay. Whew, I thought we lost it. All of this time and all this work, I don't want to lose the work here, okay? For any plot on line C, the x-coordinate was, did we say 9? I believe we said 9. Okay? Now, let's move on to the next one for F. Each of the points lies on at least one of the lines shown in the plane on the previous page. Identify the line that contains each of the following points. Oh, it's easy stuff. This is easy stuff. Peanuts to a giant, right? Let's look at the first one. This plot, 7, 7, what line does that sit on? So let's go back to our graph, our coordinate plane. 7, 7. X7 y 7. So let's take a look. I'm going to look at 7 on the x-axis. I want you all to follow, so I'll grab that little pen tool. I'm going to look at 7 on the x-axis, which is in between 8 and 6. And then I'll look at 7 on the y-axis, which is in between 8 and 6. So what line does that sit on? This line here, which is line A. Very good. So we can go back and fill in line A. Just like they have it. Now let's look at the next one, 14 and 8. So x14 and y8. x14 and y8. I'm going to grab the tool so that you all can follow with me. x14 is here and y8, which is here. Which line does this sit on? It sits on line D. So that would be line D. I'll go back and fill in. Let's do the next one, 5, 10. So x is 5, y is 10. Let's go back and look at our coordinate plane. X is 5 and y is 10. I'll grab the tool. So x is 5, which is in between 4 and 6, and y equals 10. I'll go up to 10, which is here. What line does that sit on? X is 5 and line is 10. Some people may say E, but that's not true, okay? Because E doesn't have a coordinate for this and, I think it's line C, you all, because when x is 5, yeah, y equals 10, but it could be line E as well, because if I put a coordinate pair there, I'll put it there. Let me see. If I put a coordinate pair, a plot here, that plot is easily both of those lines, because that line E does cross at that particular point on the grid. So the answer would be C and E. Interesting. Very interesting. Let's go back to the page, fill in the answer. Okay, Ms. Durham's going to grab a pen, put the answer in. This would be C or E. All right, next one, 0 and 17 here. 0 for x and 17 for y. 0 for x and 17 for y. Okay, let me grab a tool. Thank you for being patient with us. It's not really easy on teachers to do the e-learning, but it's okay. Ms. Durham is working it all out. 0 for x and 14 for y. So 0 for x is here. And we go up to 14. No, was it 14 for y? Ah, 17 for y. So 0 for x and 17 for y. So I'll take a look. Grab a tool. 0 for x is here, and 17 for y would be in between 16 and 18. If you extend line B out, line B would sit on those particular coordinates. So the answer there would be B. Let's go back to the page. And I'll write in B for here. All right, the next one, 15.3 and 9.3 for y. Okay, so 15.3 for x, 9.3 for y. Let me grab a tool. 15.3 for x. I'm going to go over. 15 would be in between 16 and 14. And then 0.3 would be just a tiny little bit over from 15. I'm going to stay in the middle because it's really close there. And then what was the y? 17.3. Oh, goodness. Mr. Arm's getting old. I got to go back and look for y. I need to find a way that we can do both pages on the same screen here. 9.3, 15.3, 9.3. This has got to be hilarious. Sorry, parents. Anybody's looking. Oh, you all understand how it gets when you get a little older. 15.3, 9.3. 9 would be in the middle of 8 and 10 on the y-axis. That's here. And what line does this particular point sit on? It sits on line D. Whew. All right, let's go back and input it into line D. All right, last one, 20 and 40. Please, let's go back. Please keep going. Don't give up. Ms. Durham did not allow herself to give up. I wanted to say, oh my goodness. Let me just cut the video short here, but I didn't. Keep going, keep persevering, keep pushing through. We have to do it. Teachers have to do it. Parents have to do it. Students have to do it. So keep pushing through. Keep persevering, you all. All right, let's continue. 20 and 40. 20x, 40y. I'm getting excited because it's almost over here. 20x, 40y. Uh-oh, my screen is stuck. Here we go. 20x, 40y. Grab a tool. I'm going to go to 20 on the x-axis. And I believe it said 14 on the y-axis, which would be here. And that particular line is line D again. Very good. So let's go back. It's 2040. Oh my goodness. Let's go back. Grab a tool. 20 on the x-axis and 40 on the y-axis, which would be up here. That's probably line E. Very good. E. I want to strangle this iPad. Oh my goodness. I have to stay calm. All right. Hopefully that's the last page. Let's look and see. Yes, we did it. We did it. Yay. If this video makes it out, you all, thank you for being patient. Thank you for bearing with us. This one was a little bit choppy, but it's okay. We did it. All right, everybody. I'll see you all in the next video.